2020 is starting out as a rather odd weather year here in south central Pennsylvania. The temperature has been ranging from well below average to well above average, and it just keeps cycling back and forth, which we think might be confusing the birds. And they'll go from snow and difficult to find food to snow free and food all over the place. And it's really affecting how many birds we see day to day at our feeders. A bitter cold early December gave way to a very warm end of December, which lulled us into a false sense of security because the first week in January we were hit with crashing temperatures and a surprise 6-inch snowstorm. And we had had some robins who decided early in the season that this was going to be a warm winter and that they would stick around here and it would be pretty good eats. And then everything came crashing down around their ears. It got cold and snowy and a lot of food sources were covered up. And I'm sure these robins were asking themselves, did we make a mistake by not going down to Boca with our cousins? Probably checking out the flight schedules for Boca and Miami right now because, believe me, it has been very chilly and very hard on them. So at least they've got the suet feeder to hit to get a little high energy chow into their lives. Mary Pat set up this new watering bowl for these guys that goes right on our deck rail. So this is a bird bath that's heated. And believe me, the robins are treating it as if it's their own personal day spa. They just absolutely love coming down to have a warm drink every now and then. This log is typically one of our woodpecker feeders, but it's been pretty popular with the bluebirds too this winter. We're seeing an awful lot of the robins this winter. In fact, kind of surprising. There's a number of them that stayed on. They don't seem happy about it. As you can see, they are definitely getting their peanuts and suet, trying to get as much high energy food as they can before they head back into the trees. The winds have been absolutely terrible this year, and at this point in the winter it was very cold and very blowy. I mean, we're seeing a calm period right now, but it really has to be bitter for these guys just trying to huddle in a nest at night. I mean, I think if you're a bear or a groundhog and you've got a nice warm den and you're taking a big long nap, winter's got to be a lot more pleasant than if you're out trying to make a living in the cold like these guys are. Well, besides the robins and the bluebirds, had lots of little songbirds coming up to the mealworm feeder and the suet feeders during the cold, brisk days that we had at the end of December. I should say the beginning of January, because the end of December was very warm and these guys were happy. But by the time we got into the farm show week, the first week in January, we were getting the snow. And they were happy to be able to come up and get something to eat. Of course, not everybody hates the snow. This is our local hawk. We call him Wally because he hangs out at the Walmart quite a bit. There's some good hunting over there. But, Wally doesn't really mind the snow because it makes it a lot easier to spot prey against that white background. So wintertime is not a bad time for him. Though, thanks to him and the foxes, it can be a bad time for the squirrel population. Well, we went from snow on the ground and temperatures in the 20s and 30s to almost overnight temperatures in the 40s and even the 50s. And the snow just disappeared. It's like it evaporated before our eyes. And with it, the robins went off to find their natural food sources and left the feeders alone for a while. But it wasn't long before the bluebirds were back taking their place. And we have quite a few bluebirds here. They are with us throughout the winter. Mary Pat has put a lot of bluebird houses up on the property. And we have many happy families of bluebirds that come to stay with us and check it out and stay forever. So you can see them over here getting their mealworms and really chowing down, kind of in the warm temperatures. And they're really making use of that mealworm feeder. Mary Pat has recently started growing her own mealworms, by the way. And the bluebirds weren't the only ones who enjoyed the unusual warmth. We don't typically see a lot of cardinals around our feeders, something that Mary Pat does not understand because she does everything she can to entice them. But we do have them in the trees much more often than we have them at the feeders. And all year we've had a pair of males that seem to be best buds that just come around quite a bit and eat the natural food and rarely ever pay a visit to the house. And here they are in our crabapple tree, enjoying the warm weather. Now, this downy woodpecker and the red-breasted woodpecker both enjoyed our hospitality as the weather warmed up a little bit. We see quite a bit of both of them, though, all through the winter. I personally like seeing some of the little birds. They're very energetic and like little clowns, really. This guy's just digging for seed, going for whatever he can get. Well, in the middle of the winter, warm weather like that couldn't last, and the birds could really sense it. We could see a change in the weather coming. We could tell by the way they were feeding. They were really trying to stock up. You can see this robin is absolutely chowing down because he knows that tough times are coming. And he's absolutely right. It seemed like all the birds and the animals could sense a change in the weather coming. And pretty soon the front started to move in. And the wind just got wild. It was freezing cold. The wind was blowing like crazy. It was the sort of thing that just made me feel bad for birds that were going to be out in the open. It was just had to be miserable to live that way. But a change was coming, and it was coming fast. And the winds brought a cold front. Temperatures crashed down, and it started to snow, and then it turned into an ice storm. And in no time, all the natural foods were locked under a layer of ice. And the temperatures just stayed low for days at a time. So nothing was thawing. And consequently, our feeders looked very attractive to the local bird population. You can see they're having a free-for-all for it. So this is the situation we're in now, but with this winter, you just never know. In a couple of days, could be in the 40s again, or we could be getting another storm. So we'll just have to keep a sharp weather eye out and see what happens, and we'll let you know as time goes on how the winter progressed here with our birds. So until then, this is Wings and Things. Bye. Well, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. That's a big help to us. And if you're not already a subscriber, we hope you'll subscribe. And tell your friends about this. There's something very relaxing about watching birds and seeing nature and get us away from, the busy pressure of our lives. And we hope you like it, and we hope your friends will like it. And stop by often for updates. We hope to continue to bring you great bird videos and butterfly videos for the foreseeable future. So check in with us later to see how things go in the midwinter time with the birds in our backyard. Thanks.